EFL fixture list has been released and we now know who plays what and when over in League One. But does that affect my predictions for the upcoming campaign? Well, we're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at the 2025-2026 League One campaign and, of course, update our predictions. That's right, the managerial merry-go-round has calmed down a dramatic bit and we now know who plays who and when over in the upcoming campaign. We'll get into all of that in a minute. Of course, if you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, World Cup, League One football. We're all here under one Rooski, that's right. So the big major news is Miro Muslic has left to go from Plymouth to Schalke. And they've been replaced by ex-Watford coach Tom Cleverley. But what's that done to my predictions? Because I did tip them to do very, very well last time around. We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Big shout out to the members and the Patreons, you know who you are. But we're going to jump in the vortex and, of course, do it like this, using the old tier list system. Right then, folks, let's kick it all off with a look at the old tier list system. I'm going to rank them from all over the place. Coming out to a bit of a random order, and we're going to be quite prompt with this, as, of course, not much has changed in the transfer market, but it's about to as we turn into the month of July. So we're going to start with a brother from another mother. That's right. We're going to go with Burton Albion, sitting in here around about 17th spot under Gary Bowyer. I think he's a safe set of hands. I think he'll have them well clear of relegation. Actually got them in the 18th spot for them. Still safe, still well clear of anything along those lines. Moving forward, we're going to have Port Vale. They're going to be next to them around about 19th. Well, it's going to be a difficult season. They're, of course, probably definitely a good set of hands. Darren Moore might be one of those managers that might be looking further up the pecking order here to get maybe another job if he was to, if something becomes available, maybe at a Bolton or a Wigan or something like that, or Blackpool perhaps, if things go a little bit wrong with those guys. So I'm going to have Port Vale 19th. I think they're in good shape there. I have Wimbledon struggling, but they're still there in 20th spot, hanging on for dear life. And, of course, heading in the right direction, according to me. Now, moving forward on the other end, we're going to go Bradford City into 17th spot. Very happy that they're back at this level. They, a big club that really wants to be pushing further up their footballing pyramid. They've made the massive stride now getting out League Two. They've been in there for far too long. I think they're going in the right direction. Of course, Graham Alexander, phenomenal manager there. They've got an ex-player in Richie Smallwood from Blackburn Rovers, and we do get to face them in the Cardiff Cup early doors, Blackburn Rovers. So it'd be good to see them at Ewood Park for the first time in a long, long time. So good to see that. And then I have Rotherham over in about 16th spot. Getting quite tight down here, guys. We have to push this down a little bit. So yeah, Rotherham not really in the best shape in my eyes. I think Hamshaw is definitely a gamble as a coach. I think he's still young, still earning spurs. They definitely need to find a bit of magic with him. Otherwise, it could be a long old season for Rotherham. They brought in a load of new players last season under Steve Evans. Didn't really work out. A lot of those guys will still be there, and hopefully hoping to get something better out of them this time around. Next up, alongside Rotherham, over into 15th place, we have Lincoln City. That's right, Michael Scabula's boys doing A-OK in the recent times. Last season wasn't their best, but I think they're hoping for a bit better or a bit more progress moving forward. I don't think it's going to happen, to be fair. I think he missed his window of the playoffs a couple of seasons back. I think we're now to start to see a bit of stagnation, perhaps, a bit of treading water and just kind of staying where they are. Not really much movement in my eyes for Scabula and company. That's in 15th place. It's a 14th place. We have newly promoted Doncaster Rovers, who take up a considerable amount of space, but amount of real estate on this tier list. I'm going to scoot them down again. Sorry, moving them all the way down there. So we have them into 14th. Grant McCann has got experience at this level. He's even got experience at Championship, and he's hoping to right some wrongs from previous campaigns for Doncaster Rovers. So they're back, and they're back with a punch, and I think they're going to do A-OK next season. Meanwhile, a team that I think is going to struggle next season, which probably has a lot of high expectation, is that of Huddersfield Town. I have them down to 13th. Again, new coach there coming in, Lee Grant, trying to earn his spurs, earn his stripes. And again, I think it's going to be a learning curve for him this season. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a dead end with Lee Grant. I think it's a patience kind of thing. Get the season out of the way, and then, of course, maybe go for it proper the second season. But yeah, just got to be patient with these new coaches. Some get it right first time, everything falls into place, but otherwise it's going to be a sticky wicket. Let's take a look at the relegation sides now then, shall we? I do have, unfortunately, Exeter City going down this time around. It's not been the greatest trajectory for them of late. They were flirting around a couple of seasons back for maybe pushing for the playoffs, but ultimately they've been on a downward trajectory. And of course, Gary Caldwell, being there, seen it and done it, limited resources, limited offerings there, expectations. And I think they're just slowly creeping towards a relegation spot. Meanwhile, Mansfield Town did great last season, or at least the early part of last season. Again, just like Exeter, the trajectory was heading downwards. And I think under Clough, don't get me wrong, he's a good coach and he's done a miraculous to keep Mansfield in the division last season, but I think it's going to bite them in the ass this time around. Moving forward alongside them at relegation spots, it will be Stevenage. That's right, Stevenage, of course, currently now have Alex Revel at the charge. Again, a couple of seasons back, they were flirting with the top 6, top 7. And then, of course, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So they're on a one-way street also to relegation in my eyes. I just don't think they've been here a little bit now, a couple of seasons. And I think and they made a good account of themselves, but I just think I've not been blown away by movements and progress. I think they kind of, again, treading water. And now I think it's very difficult in this division with some hungry teams coming up from League Two, like Port Vale, Bradford City, Doncaster, Wimbledon, all trying to come in here and give it the what for. And then finally, I have going down, it is Northampton Town. That's right. John Brady was there last season. Now, of course, under the stewardship of Kevin Owens, still trying to earn his stripes, earn his spurs. He did an okay job getting some points on the board, and credit to him for taking up a job such as this. But again, the resources are limited at 6 fields, and I do think they will go down. Let's take a look at 12th place now. I'm going to stick them right in here. It's Leyton Orient. Matey boy Richie Wellens did a tremendous job, and maybe he should have left with his stock very, very high. Of course, I'm sure there was offers or opportunities at the Championship, or maybe even other clubs at League One. Maybe Cardiff, for example, would have been a good option for him if you wanted to look at it. But he decided to stick with it, and credit to him for doing that, because, it wasn't that long ago that these guys were in League Two and even in non-league. So it's been a roller coaster for them. A steady set of hands. Again, when you look at the cream of the crop here, cream of the top, it does get very difficult for the likes of Leyton Orient to be up there. I hope they are. I do like Leyton Orient. They're, of course, one of my guilty pleasures. I do like them, and the fact that they're a London club, and I've always got a soft spot for them. So I do hope they do well. I think Richie Wellens is the guy. I just don't know what's going to happen with them this campaign. I think it's going to be a very tricky one. Meanwhile, Reading, new ownership, I believe, but not much movement at the moment transfer-wise. I don't know if that ownership has been completed yet or what. If you're a Reading fan, let me know down below. Again, Noel Hunt is the governor right there. Am I right? Noel Hunt is the gaffer there, taking over from Ruben Selles, of course, who's had his own lottery ticket given to him with his move to Sheffield United. But Ruben Selles, Noel Hunt and Reading were doing all right. They were just a little bit outshone in the end. And again, they're going to be next to the partner in crime, Leyton Orient, this time around as well. Moving forward, it's a 10th spot. I don't believe in them right now, and that is Wycombe Wanderers. That's right. Of course, they're now with Mike Dodds at the helm. Of course, missed opportunity last time, and I think they're just. I don't think he's the right guy for the Wycombe Wanderers at the moment. Very defensive. Just not many. The football kind of just changed dramatically, and I do think they're gonna see the negative side of that early doors in this campaign. I think the expectation is high. They've got a good player in Kone. I think if they lose him, which they probably will. I do think they're going to go one way. Meanwhile, Barnsley, I have them quite high here in 9th, I think, which we might have to punch this down a smidgen. I'm not too sure about the appointment of Conor Hoonahane as governor. Again, somebody trying to learn their stripes, and I honestly think they could end up down here somewhere. But I'm going to stick them here right now. They've still got the appeal, the lure of Barnsley, one of the powerhouses in this club, in this division. But ultimately, I just think it's going to be a long old season. Meanwhile, we also got Cardiff. That's right, Cardiff. I think they're going to struggle under Barry Murphy. Is it Barry Murphy? Brian Barry Murphy. That's his full shenanigan name there. I've got them in 8th. I think they'll struggle, even with all the big money players on the books, and that could be a problem for them. If they can't get it right this time around, stick another time in this division, they could be struggling for moving forward. Meanwhile, also missing out on the Heartbreak Hotel, and this could change, and because I do like Stevie Bruce and Blackpool in 7th place. They've started to bring some key additions into the club. I think they could just sneak in into 6th if they get off to a good start, strong start, positive start, and all the players gel, because Steve Bruce knows what he's doing in this league. Meanwhile, another guy who knows what he's doing is Wigan, and that's Ryan Lowe. We're going to have him in there in 6th. Into the playoffs they go. Exciting. Again, bringing in some players, very exciting players as well. It could be a chance to reset the blocks here for Wigan. And I could see them making a nice push for promotion this campaign. Peterborough, also, they're back. Of course, Ferguson knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing. It's a bit of a reset as well. Poku's gone. Probably going to lose. There's another guy who went over to the Bundesliga as well, St. Pauli. So a bit of a reset. But, of course, these guys know what they're doing. They're notorious, and they'll be there or thereabouts. So I got Bolton. No, I don't. I got Plymouth. I got Plymouth in 4th place here. I did have them at first under Misalovic there, Mira Misalovic, but he's gone. Tom Cleverley, it is a downgrade. It's definitely a downgrade, especially when you look at the guys that are competing at this top end of the table. It's going to be a very, very tight, tough competition. It will be once again in League One. It is much more difficult than it was 5 or 6 years ago when Blackburn Rovers were in here. So, difficult to get out of it. So they've got to get out of it as well if they want to become serious about maintaining top sort of 2-tier football for Plymouth. And of course, also in there, I've got Bolton. Actually, Bolton bouncing back here, overtaking Plymouth with Steven Schumacher as well. They've got the fans, they've got the, I think maybe a bit of momentum. I don't really believe in Schumacher. I mean, I think maybe we will see him getting sacked early doors at Bolton with a terrible start, and they'll bring in a good coach. I don't even know who it would be at this moment in time, but there'll be options. There'll be some choices out there. They'll get the appointment right, and then they'll steam up the table, and they'll finish 3rd, just outside the playoffs. But into the top 2, we have 2nd place Stockport County. Very close last time. They gave Birmingham, they gave Wrexham a run for the money, and ultimately were bitten in the playoffs. But they'll be back, and they'll be back because they kept the core of the squad there. The manager's still there. Good coach as well. But of course, number 1 spot, I am going to go to Luton right now. It looks like, again, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I'm seeing the light a little bit with Luton Town. I think looks like they're keeping a core bunch of their players. Yes, some of them have gone. Cotton Morris has gone. Doughty will go. Kaminsky will probably go as well. There'll be a bit of a reboot, rechange, but they'll still have some quality in there, and that quality should be enough to see them. And I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be I don't think we'll have a runaway leader like we did last time. I think we will have a tight encounter for the promotion race, and we might even go down to the wire. But it is difficult. It is spicy, but of course, it's always interesting over in League One. But that's my take. Let me know your thoughts and opinions as we look forward to it. Again, I'll come back to you maybe in a month's time, just before the start of the season, once the transfer, hopefully, activity picks up a bit. And of course, the preparations for the season are in full flux, pre-season, all that kind of jazz. There's going to be injuries, there's going to be niggles, there's going to be all that kind of jazz. But until then, I'll see you soon. Until we return, I'm done.